One of them is an M. Bison G.I. Joe.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. The G.I. Joe Street Fighters
Yeah,
are
dude.
fucking sick. I have quite a few of those still
I
from when I was a
have
kid.
M. Bison, but his glowy hand
Glowy, yeah, the glow
has been
hand.
sharpened into like a claw. I think I did it on purpose. I did all this stuff to things on purpose. Like I cut off Chris Jericho's ponytail because I thought it wasn't cool when I was a kid. So now
You made him 2008 Chris Jericho.
and I like drew blood on some of their faces and stuff. That was such a trip to find.
Oh my god, dude, totally. Yeah, me
Yeah.
and my little brother used to buy, like at Halloween, we'd stock up on fake blood packets.
Yeah.
So that way, like throughout the year, we could add blood to our wrestling figure matches.
Yeah. That's
like
awesome.
I have a Gangrel that's sitting on the shelf right by me that's covered in fake blood.
Oh, I would have thought that was like part of the toy. That actually looks sick.
Yeah, because it's Gangrel, so it makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, and the fake blood, I feel like there's like some layers of transparency to it.
Sick.
Do you remember the first wrestling figure that you bought?
I would say probably The Rock, but I can tell you that I grew up, and obviously this is pre-internet, and Walmart never had all the figures. They only would have some of them. So like I would go over to my friend's house and he would have like Rob Van Dam. And I was like, where did you find that? Like it blew my mind. Like I go to Toys R Us, wouldn't see these things, Walmart. And I can tell you the one that I wanted the most was Scotty Too Hottie, because I was such a Too Cool fan.
Dude, Too Cool ruled. You never got a Scotty Too Hottie?
I feel like I did, but it's not in my figures that I found under the stairs and like at my parents' house. Like, so I feel like I wouldn't have gotten rid of him, but I seem to remember having him and losing
the hat,
his visor.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the cut off bucket hat.
The cut off bucket hat, yeah, that stuck his hair through. It's so funny if you go back and look at Too Cool, they are like the least cool people in the world.
Yeah, it's funny to think back because I do remember the very first wrestling figure that I had.
What was it?
Jake the Snake Roberts.
With Snake?
Yeah, with Snake. Hasbro, like early 90s. Probably got it in like 1992, maybe 1991. It was my dad's friend Buck bought it for me. I don't know why. Like he just was hanging out. It was a good friend of my dad's. He would hang out with us a lot, so we called him Uncle Buck, and he would bring us wrestling figures every now and then. And the first wrestling show I went to, Uncle Buck went to that wrestling show with us, and he was a big part of our like family when I was really young. But
just to be clear, did they adapt this into a Hollywood film starring John Candy?
Yeah, exactly. That's my way of sharing that information about my early years.
It was really interesting when he came in with like the hockey mask and stuff.
It would be pretty funny if I really like that movie, but don't remember it enough to like transition into me
just telling scenes from Uncle Buck. I just was on TV the other day and I was watching it. That's the only reason.
But I, as an adult, have not talked to Uncle Buck. I've not seen him since I was a little kid for no reason. I think it's just like maybe my dad and him grew apart as friends. I'm not sure, but he bought me my first wrestling figure, which was Jake the Snake Roberts. And I remember being at a recreational football game that he and my dad were both the referees of. And I threw Jake the Snake up into a tree.
What?
And he got stuck, and it was really, really high up.
Did you have to call the fireman?
I mean, just as tragic as a cat getting stuck in a tree is the 1990s Jake the Snake Hasbro.
Yeah.
No, we did not call the fire department, but all of the adults spent a lot of time trying to get it out of the tree because I was really upset that it was stuck, like for obvious reasons, because I loved that toy and took it everywhere with me. And still have it on a shelf.
Uncle Buck came and plucked the tree straight out of the ground and shook Jake free.
Exactly.
And
exactly
everyone rejoiced.
I think the last few that I bought were the ECW figures They were at a discount like grocery store by my parents' house.
Nice.
And they were cheap. They were cheap enough for me to like be cutting lawns and to go there and buy like a couple of them. Like they were probably like,
Nothing
I don't
better
remember
than
the
that.
price, but I bet they were like $3 or $4 at that store. And they had them all for a long time, for like a couple years. Like I remember like it was probably like late, like 1999, 2000. So I would have been like 12, 13. Yeah, because it was like cutting lawns and also umpiring baseball games. So
I did that.
Did you really?
I did that for one game.
Dude, that job sucks. Why did you only do it for one game?
That's a great question. So I was, one of my coaches was like, "Do you want to umpire?" And I was like, "Well, I barely understand the rules of baseball, but
dude,
okay.
Same. Yeah,
Okay.
It's like I know how to play the game.
Yeah,
and I kind of get like what a strike. Like I understand what a strike zone is, but it's like
I
you don't
understand
know
the
all
concept
of
a strike zone.
Yeah, it's like how are you supposed to call it? You're like 12,
Yeah,
and you are authority on
child.
Adults.
Okay, so they're throwing stuff, and I'm literally just calling whatever, like ball, strike. Like I'm calling balls when they swing. And the team, one of the team coaches was so mad at me, and he like just kept razzing me the whole game. He's like, "Come on up!" and yell, and I just like cried and like left the game. Never to ump again. That was the end of my umping career.
I think I did it for like a whole summer.
Good for
but
you.
Like
you weren't heckled out the first game. That is a good start.
It did give me like, I think probably my earliest memories of feeling like kind of like anxiety as like a child. Like, I mean, you obviously feel like nervous or like,
yeah,
but a lot of times as a kid, since you're with your parents, you always feel safe in most situations. I mean, ideally,
sure,
you would feel safe in like a situation. And I feel like, but on your own volition, it's like my parents would drop me off to umpire, and then I'd be there alone. It's not like I would know anybody there.
Yeah.
For the people that I was umpiring games for.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's there alone, and I'm calling a game that adults are taking way too seriously.
Way too seriously. It is a weird transition for a child to make from player to umpire. Seems like something you would do like in your 50s or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you've had a storied career, and now like you're gonna
now
like
you understand all of the
boots.
rules of baseball, and you're gonna use that for the next generation. That's like if you were 14, they put you on like color commentary. Like I would.
This kid watches. Right. Yeah, it's like this kid watches wrestling. Let's throw him on commentary. He's probably good. Where his parents at? Let him go. But yeah,
we'll be right back for the Torture Wracked Umpire podcast.
We're talking umps today, boys.
Is this an episode of We Love Umps?
But yeah, the new AEW figures now, it's like, I think I'm going to buy some new. I haven't bought like any new wrestling figures in a while, but now with these new AEW figures, those Lucha Bros are looking real sick.
It looks so awesome. In my cart currently in Ringside Collectibles, I have the scale ring, which comes with Kenny Omega. I have Cody, whose tights look tight, and he's got the fucking sledgehammer and everything, the Triple H sledgehammer. And who was the last one? Oh, yeah, Painmaker Jericho.
Is there anyone that they have not yet released that you hope to make a figure of that isn't as obvious as some?
Luchasaurus.
Oh yeah, dude! There needs to be like a 13-inch Luchasaurus with a Marco stunt that's like a little Keshi, like that's like this size.
It just like sits on his shoulder.
And maybe a Marco stunt and a Jungle Boy that are both like tiny Keshi figures.
Oh my gosh, that would be awesome.